Go. Jake, maybe we can eclipse a record on likes today.
I think we should definitely try at least.
Yeah, I think so too. Hit us with some likes. Hit us with likes if you like the eclipse and if you don't like the eclipse.
Yeah. Sure.
I personally, not an eclipse guy.
I don't want to say I forgot about the eclipse, but I walked out from my apartment to get here. By the way, we're at the Breck Brew Farmhouse. Wonderful Breck Brew Farmhouse. And I was like, why is it a little bit darker outside than like normal? It's like 12.
See, someone came into our office today when I was in for a meeting, and they were like, "Yep, it's looking a little dimmer out there." And I looked outside. I was like, "No, it's not."
I thought it did. Really?
I think it's in everyone's head.
Maybe.
But we're not in the path of totality.
That is true. We are a little caught astray from where the actual path of the eclipse is.
Yep. Shout out to Breckenridge Brewery, man. You guys got to come down here. Get yourself an ice-cold Fun Slinger on tap, as we just did. But this whole place, I call it the Breck Brew campus.
Yes.
Because it's truly like a whole campus. Mm-hmm. You've got the farmhouse where you can go and eat and drink and hang out on the patio out there. You've got the tap room over here where you could have a private event. You've got all these taps just sitting in here waiting for you. They have concerts right outside here where they have this big thing. It's amazing. So if you haven't been down here, as far as breweries go, I think this is the best one that you can just come visit because there's so much to see.
Yeah, just come tour the brewery, honestly. Yeah. It's so dope. We did that, when were we here last? It's been a minute. Probably a year ago.
Yeah.
But we toured the I guess, brewery area. I don't know what you'd call it.
That would be the brewery, yes. That's where they brew the beer.
But we toured that. That was dope.
It was dope. We toured the samples of beer they had that day, too.
Yes.
Slightly less beers today.
Slightly, but we'll be okay.
Yeah,
we can make do. What's up to everyone in the Toyota chat? How's everyone doing? How was your Friday, by the way? How did that end up going?
The chat would love to see some of the videos that were captured on Friday. Let me just say that. That might be one of those ones. It's like if we hit a milestone, I'll take you guys behind the scenes of my opening day.
You guys left for the ballpark, and there was 4 of us left at the bar, and I was like, yeah, it's time to go home.
Bro, whew. There's just something about opening day. Something in the air just makes everyone let their guard down a little extra.
Yes, Denver was on one on Friday.
Absolutely. And it's one of those ones where I didn't feel like I was that drunk. And then I saw some of the videos. I was like, oh shit, I was turned up.
Yeah, we got pretty
lit. And it wasn't just me.
We got pretty lit before at the...
An unnamed member of the staff turned away at the doors.
Really?
Yeah, didn't get into the stadium.
Can I guess live on the air?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm never, ever telling who it was.
Damn, what happened?
Who turned?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've got some names in my head.
I guarantee you're wrong. Although
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I have a good
you were
idea.
there.
I have a good idea, I think.
All right.
I am not blazed AF right now. Thank you very much. Let's get into it, though. We begin week 3 of spring football this week. 2 weeks to look back on. We had wasn't a scrimmage, by the way. We can't call it a scrimmage. Practice.
Just a practice.
But we had some live action on Saturday. If you guys checked out well off.
But only the amount that you can have in a practice.
Of course. That's all. Just a practice.
Practice. We're talking about practice. Not a scrimmage. Practice.
Practice. There was another first-person coach cam from Coach Prime.
Yes.
Those are my favorite videos.
Genius idea, by the way.
They're amazing. But let's get into some takeaways from the first 2 weeks. And the guy was on the headline, on the thumbnail, so let's just start with him. Micah Welch is really making an impression.
Man, so predictable. But also, I guess, wouldn't be predictable from people outside.
Right.
But anyone who has been involved in around this program has seen the kind of the way that Micah Welch goes about his business. And it's really exciting. And it was before he ever got on the field. Another one of those guys that we put, along with Eric Gilbert as, or Eric Brantley
Very different than Eric Gilbert, bro.
Who's Eric Gilbert?
That's the tight end that went from LSU to Nebraska that got
oh
popped
my
for
God, I don't know why that name just popped in my
I was
head.
like, why are you talking about him?
Eric Brantley, who just committed, and just didn't no drama after that.
Yep.
And came in, started working, posted some videos, and it's just like, oh, this guy's he's about that action.
Yep.
And now he's on the field, and he is very clearly about that action.
Yeah. It's a very determined work ethic that you can just see and sense from him when he's on the field, when he's walking around the facility. Like, he's not a big – we have personalities on this team, right? Guys who love the camera. He doesn't strike me as one of those guys. He's just all about business, all about ball.
Yep, and there's nothing wrong with being, the other side of it.
Sure.
But it's very much like – it just fits him. Mm-hmm. And, you think of workhorse and those types of words when you think of a running back, and he just very, very well fits into that.
Yep.
And he's been popping off. And he had quite the highlight.
Yes.
He had quite the highlight this weekend.
Yeah, and you can see it from the first-person cam, the truck that he laid on Shilo Sanders.
Yeah, and so I guess the backstory is there's the big hit that Shilo had last week. Mm-hmm. That was on Micah Welch.
Yes.
And I don't really know what to make of that whole thing. Obviously, that's just football. So I start there. But you do hear a whistle, but no one stops. I'm like, is that whistle for something else? Because no one stopped.
So from what I remember, there was a little collision before that. Micah broke a tackle, so he gets on the perimeter. And I think they blew the whistle on first contact. And then, you're not going to stop Shilo once he has a full head of steam. He's going to finish and, connect at the destination. He did, laid a hit on Micah Welch. But also, whenever Coach Prime, when they do these live periods, Coach Prime says, running backs, tight ends, you're getting hit.
Yeah.
Don't touch the receivers or quarterbacks.
Yeah, and what is that? If you're out on the field and you see a guy keep running, your instinct is to go get him.
Yeah.
And once in a while you'll see a guy get a penalty for that. But a lot of times when the offensive player keeps going, or let's just say a kick returner or a punt returner fair catches the ball but then takes off and gets hit, they're not going to throw a flag on the defender for going hit him. So anyways, that happened. Coach Prime seemed to love it.
Yes.
And then Micah Welch got his revenge, ran over Shilo, and then pointed at him while backpedaling into the end zone.
The score is 1-1, or Sean says 2-1 now.
For Shilo?
I guess.
Okay.
I thought we were equal right now.
I saw a post that went viral where someone said, Chuck sticking a guy and then pointing at him in front of his dad is crazy.
Yes. Coach Prime loved it the other way, too.
Yes, of course. Coach Prime just loves football. That's just, that's football right there. And you got to love seeing the true freshman kind of stand up for himself.
Definitely.
But between the lines.
Yeah, for sure.
I loved it.
Just looking as advertised, I guess let's just talk about his role moving forward. I'll get to some more spring takeaways that I have at least. I'm going to put out a whole article on the DNVR later tonight on that too. But this backfield, you have the Dylan factor, right? Mm-hmm. We're all imagining Alto to be the quote-unquote starter. You got Savion. Charlie's out there popping runs again this spring. Where does Micah fit in this backfield, and how much of a, carry share is he going to get?
Look, we've talked about this going back to our position preview with the running backs. Mm-hmm. But as much as I think that everyone wants Alto to step into that main running back role, I don't think anything is settled. Mm-hmm. I don't think anything is in stone, save for QB1 and wherever Travis wants to play.
Yeah.
Everything else is up in the air. Mm-hmm. And I would have no hesitation saying I think Micah Welch could become the star lead back for this group.
Sure.
Now, if I'm predicting it, I think he is more of still going to be, the second or third guy, depending on where you want to put Dylan. Probably the third back.
Yeah.
But I think that there's no telling how high he can go, how fast. And running back is one of those positions in college that you can just burst on the scene and just go be great.
Right. So, last year, TCU, Dylan was the starter, right? But it looked very different than when Savion Wilkerson was in the ballgame.
Yep.
And that's how I think it's going to look with Micah Welch. I mean, they're very similar body types, very similar players in how they play the game. And that's kind of the archetype Coach Prime likes at running back. He likes these bowling balls, these guys who are just a load to tackle once they get to the second level. That's exactly what Micah Welch is. Even last year, it was like a lot of rotation at running back. The starter would kind of change game to game, and then it was almost like they were terrible at running, but they tried to ride the hot hand at times. Like Xavier had his drives, Hank had his drives last year and stuff. So that's how I envision it seeing. I mean, you still have Flea there, so I think it's going to be a heavy rotation, but guys are going to get like their spurts of whether it's drive, series of carries.
Where do you stand on that?
On just running back rotation in general?
The idea of like kind of running back by committee.
In college, I think you can get away with having a bell cow way more than the NFL. So say it's Alto, maybe it's Micah. If one of them emerges as like the clear-cut best runner with the ball in their hands between the tackles, I could see them getting like most of the carries, but I do think it's going to be a lot of rotation. And I don't know, it's about keeping fresh legs, right?
Yes, absolutely. But I've asked every running back I've ever known this question. And, of course, these guys are going to say this, but I think there's something to it. Every single one of them said I would much rather get the lion's share of the carries because it takes time to get a rhythm as a running back.
Yeah, game flow is real.
And, you can look at it like even, I don't know, Derrick Henry's the first one that comes to my mind. Like, you might hold Derrick Henry down for the first quarter. But his game is obviously one of one, but he's going to wear you out over time. He's going to start noticing tendencies. He's going to start saying, oh, okay, well, this guy's over pursuing this way, so I should cut this way. Like The greats do see that. Adrian Peterson, another one where I felt like there's times where it's like, oh, Adrian Peterson, 6 carries for 9 yards in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden by halftime he's got like 130.
Right.
It's tough as a running back to go out there. Let's just say you get 1 carry and the left guard misses his block and it goes for -1 and then it's throw, and then the next guy comes in.
Right.
And then you're not out. Maybe the defense goes on a long drive. You're not out there again for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I personally would prefer that when push comes to shove, they're saying, this is our one, this is our change of pace.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's not working, we'll throw out another guy just to see if he can get something going, get a spark. But I much prefer to see a team know who their guy is through and through going into the game.
Yeah, definitely. No, there's something to that. And, you'll see teams in college football, like Bucky Irving. He got a ton of carries at Oregon last year. And he, was their guy. But I think you just have to – it's something you earn, though, right? It's not something – that you're given. You're not You're not just told this quarter's yours, right? You're getting all the carries this quarter. It's really just dictating. It's how the game is flowing at that point. And then I guess just a lot of factors. I mean, Dylan, you're going to use more outside, in the passing game, stuff like that. But, if we get into the red zone or if you're in short yardage situations, you have to bring in these big guys, Micah and Xavier, because that's what they're built to do.
Yep. But I will say, after saying all of that, most college teams are honestly going through at least 3 in a game.
Yep.
And there's definitely teams that will go through even more than that. 4 probably being the max. But a lot of teams are going with 3.
I guess sticking with the backfield, Charlie's doing his same thing that he was doing last spring, where it's just the guy just breaks through the second level and all of a sudden it's a foot race.
Yeah. He might not win the foot race.
No, but he is finding running lanes, he is running to daylight, and he is picking up chunks every time.
Yeah, man. That guy just has something about him.
Yep.
He's got something about him, and I honestly hope that he gets a chance. Because as a walk-on, you're always a little bit behind the 8 ball. Now, I think Coach Prime would say that everyone, exists on equal footing. But you do have to, prove something, especially smaller in stature. He's a walk-on. He's a Colorado kid. He's got a lot to prove. We saw him kind of prove it.
Yes.
When in 2022. It was Owen McCown and Charlie Offerdahl and
Jordan Tyson.
And then who was the other wide receiver who went to Charlotte?
Oh, Chase Sowell.
Nope.
Or Jack Hastera.
Jack Hastera. I mean, look, certainly not the ideal setup there. But what I would say is that there were several plays where Charlie Offerdahl went out there and made plays in the running game.
Yep.
Against Pac-12 teams. You know, the Buffs were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make no mistake about it. But the competition was still good.
Yeah.
And he was going out there and making plays. So I've seen him do it. I hope that, you know, all he does is just work and put his head down, and he deserves to get a shot out there.
Definitely. You know, Coach Prime's talked about adding another running back, but I hope that Charlie at least gets, I don't know, man, at least 30, 25 touches this year. Just give him a chance to prove what he can do at practice.
Let's hope that there's multiple games where they're up by so much that they put him in there.
Absolutely.
And then those are those opportunities where the coaches come away saying, gotta keep giving that guy the ball.
Yeah, for sure. Some more takeaways from the first 2 weeks. We talked about Micah, but man, Shilo he's kind of turning it up a notch in all aspects, I feel.
Yeah, if you remember, Shilo wasn't with the team at this time last year.
Nope.
And if you remember, we talked to Shador about it, I think like not in an interview setting.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to Neely about it. We talked to so many people about it, and everyone's like, yeah, there's something that Shilo brings that we don't have right now.
Yes.
We can't replicate. And, you know, we talk about – it's so funny because you see Shilo off the field. He's so put together.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about him, just like so put together. But we talk about this a lot. To be great at football, you have to be a little bit unhinged.
Yep.
And when the whistle blows and, you know, they're out there between the lines, he's a little unhinged.
Yep.
And you need that as a football team, and you need that as a defense to just have a couple guys that you're like, yeah, man, I don't know what happens. He goes out there on the field, he turns into a monster.
He becomes possessed.
Yes. Like that's something that's great to have out there. It's transformative for a defense, and you just have to have some guys that like players are scared of.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
I think that Shilo legitimately invokes fear in his opponents.
Yeah, he's part of like the entire identity of that defense, if not more, the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
He's been kind of pulling out receipts recently too. Neely put out some videos. You know, Shiloh's digging into his PFF stats, like going into his missed tackle rate, going into, you know, he allowed 0 touchdowns, how many yards he allowed last year, and all that. So,
by the way, do you know what a good missed tackle rate is?
I mean, he said it was 13?
12.
I feel like that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't know what a missed tackle rate. So like,
yeah, okay, you're in the same place as me.
I can try and look it up. So like running backs force missed tackles, it's like a good season in college is like 60 or 70.
Forced missed tackles on like 350 touches?
Yes. So that's about 1 every 5 runs.
Yeah, so
and that's a pretty good rate.
That's 20%.
Yeah. And he's well below that. I mean, I don't know exactly what it's like on the other side of the ball, but he is like a good tackler. It's just that he gets himself in trouble with how he tackles sometimes, like we saw in UCLA. That's all. Yeah,
but also, like, wait, are you saying he got himself in trouble at UCLA?
Well, he got ejected.
Oh, yeah. He quite literally got himself in trouble. He also forced 2 fumbles in that game.
He did, yes.
And, like, that's just, I don't know. That is, like, those type of players, I would rather have one of those guys who gets ejected once a year 100 times out of 100 rather than, you know, not getting those plays, not getting those forced fumbles. I mean, he had the one against CSU. He also had the pick 6 against CSU. Mm-hmm. He, you know, several big hits. It's, like you said, it's a mentality and it's an identity that you need to have on defense. And I think Shilo is, you know, he told Coach Prime, hey, don't forget to mention me when you're talking about first rounders and, you know, the talent and everything on this team. And I think that he's determined to go out there and make Coach Prime right by bringing him up in the first round type conversations.
So I've pulled up this is a blog post from 2018, but they cite PFF stats. PFF does a lot of this missed tackle tracking. says, on average, FBS teams miss 15.5% of tackles.
Okay.
That year, Georgia was really good. They were number 1. They only missed 7%. Wow. This is a whole chart of the SEC. The worst team in the SEC in 2018 was Texas A&M. They missed 20.5.
So, above average, at the very least at 12. And probably in the upper echelon.
Yeah, most of these teams are around 14, 13, 11. So, if Shiloh's at 12, at least when it comes to a team projection, it's
very good.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah. All right.
Any other spring takeaways you want to hit before we move on?
I mean, I just don't think it's so easy to overlook these two, but I just think it's important to point it out. Like Shedeur, sharp, as always. That's what he does. People that have seen him up close and personal are saying he looks better than ever. He specifically mentioned getting stronger in his lower body.
Yeah.
In the off season, obviously, in the upper body as well. But it's such a blessing to have a quarterback that good that you can just trust at such a high level. And I was having a conversation about him this weekend, and people were talking about what his numbers would be, and I said I legitimately think he could throw 40 touchdowns and less than 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa, all right, calm down. I'm like, that he threw 27-3 last year with that offensive line, right? Like, and the same person I was talking to was talking about, he's running for his life last year. And I'm like, yeah, 27-3 while he was running for his life. And I'm like, now imagine if they got the offensive line right. We're not going to know until we know.
Yep.
But imagine they got the offensive line right. Now, is it that crazy to imagine 40-4? No, the answer is no.
No, not at all. I mean, that's basically it's just extending what last year would have been while keeping the same interception touchdown ratio. It's pretty simple.
If he throws 4, 5, 6 interceptions, it's not the end of the world. But it's hard to imagine him throwing more interceptions with more comfort.
Right. And still a stacked receiving core and all these guys that he has so much chemistry with in Travis, and Jimmy and LeJohntay.
Yeah, and the only reason I hesitate to say he could somehow throw less than 3 interceptions is because throwing 3 interceptions is so insanely low.
Yeah.
And 2 of those 3 weren't his fault at all.
And he forced the other one.
Yeah, and the other one, that's the one. Literally, you could make the case that was the one terrible decision he made all year.
Sure, but he was trying to win the game at the same point, too.
Yes. But as Coach Prime said when he came off the field, you took 3 off the board.
Yeah.
But, I mean, one really bad decision in a whole season. The only, like I said, the only reason I hesitate to say less than 3 is because less than 3 almost feels impossible.
Right. Yeah, it'd be that. If he throws less than 3 and continues on the road that he laid last year with these receivers, with this improved offensive line, it'd be something like 40-2.
Yeah. Even 35-2 is out of this world.
Again, like I said, I'll write up a whole takeaways thing today on Kale's locked out. Oh, poor guy. Takeaways on spring football. Check it out on the DNVR later today.
Hell yeah.
And then we have we'll get to this actually. But shout out to Toyota, our wonderful friends over at Toyota. Your Front Range Toyota stores are excited to begin our new partnership with DNVR. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. They also are a proud partner of CU Athletics. How was the ride over here in your Toyota?
Perfect as always.
Of course.
My Toyota has this sick feature, which, mine's not the latest off the lot. So I'm assuming the new ones have even better features than this.
Sure.
But mine has cruise control with, I think they call it drive assist. So I can go cruise control and then just take my hands off the wheel for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And if it's drifting one way or the other, it just fixes it.
Yeah.
So it's basically self-driving, but then it beeps at you. It's hey, idiot, put your hands on the wheel.
Yeah, you gotta touch the wheel.
But I only think that's just for pure liability reasons. That thing can drive itself.
Right. I mean, there's other, we're not going to name brands out here, but there's other self-drivers out there. But Toyota's well on their way to joining those ranks.
Right when we got our Toyota, I Allie and I went on a road trip, and that's when I discovered that feature.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is legitimately life-changing.
Yeah, for road trips, it's elite.
It's so incredible. So shout out to Toyota. Yeah, I was, I got on Santa Fe, nice big wide open road. I'm just like, let me cruise control this all the way to Breck.
There you go. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR.
Also, a big shout out to our friends over at Bet365. Yeah. Jake, you're one of the biggest Bet365 guys out there.
Yeah.
Why?
Because their early payouts for moneyline bets made me a ton of money last football season.
Explain.
So basically, if you take a money line, so I'm going to bring it up again. I'm sorry. The Stanford game.
Why would you do that?
I'm sorry.
No, find another game.
I'm sorry. So I like to, in college football season, I like to make parlays of heavy favorites. Like, I don't know, 5 to 7 teamers. Comes out to plus 100, plus 150 sometimes.
Wow.
So you do that, and if you take these money lines, if your team goes up by 21 points or more at any point in the game, it cashes out. It's right there. Boom.
Game over.
So halftime, when the Buffs were up 29-0,
you already cashed it?
That leg cashed for me. They ended up losing. The money line didn't hit, like if you bet regular or on another book. But Bet365, it hit, early money payout. They do this for basketball. They do it for NHL. It's different numbers for each thing. I think it's 15. It was for college basketball. I don't know what it is for the NBA. But that's why I love Bet365.
It's honestly crazy. And you're saying in parlays it works too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
So get over to Bet365 and get in on their early bet wins and all of their other great stuff over there. And right now, open up an account and bet $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets. Of course, you must be 21 over and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, we're going to talk defensive line here. Hold on, I'm going to kind of bring up something a little impromptu because this tweet came across earlier in the week. It's about Zay Weaver.
I don't know where you're going with this.
It's about Zay Weaver. So
okay.
He went and visited the Broncos this weekend too. Here's his pro day results from last week, from last Wednesday.
From one NFL team.
From one NFL team, so yes. 6 foot even. Completely even,
okay.
6 foot, 175. His 40-yard dash, 4.47, so a little slightly slower.
Yep.
Half of a tenth is like, it means nothing. So the 4.42 times 4.47, he's in that ballpark. His 10-yard split, Ryan, 1.48. That would have been the fastest 10-yard split out of anyone at the NFL Combine.
What?
Xavier Worthy ran a 4.21 40. A 1.48 10-yard split is faster than his.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
That's shocking.
Yes. Vertical jump of 37, that's what was reported. Broad jump 10.7, short shuttle 4.3, and a 3-cone of 7 seconds.
Yeah.
7 seconds is insane for a 3-cone.
He's back in the mix.
There's no way he doesn't get drafted. There's no way.
Wow. Really?
Yes, I'm that confident.
Explain.
That 10-yard split's elite. And you see it in his route running. He's so explosive off the line. You saw it so many times where he caught the ball with space, where the guy just turns up field and he's a blur. That 3-cone time, that's his route running. That's what we talked about this time all last year, like how this guy is able to run so low to the ground in his cuts, how quick and efficient he is in and out of his cuts. That's what that 7-second 3-cone time means.
And he got himself he and Shador, so many easy completions by just his ability to start and stop. Burst off the line, turn around, bang.
Yep.
It's there, ready for him. I think, honestly, the chemistry that he built with Shador in such a short period of time will be really valuable to him. And honestly, I'm starting to be with you. In the sense that, like, how could he not go drafted?
Yeah.
How could he not get drafted?
What he showed last year, what he did at USF with terrible quarterback play, comes and plays with the best quarterback in his career. You have to look at this year when you look at Zay Weaver. This is what the ideal situation looks like for him in the NFL, or last year, I should say, with Shilo Sanders, with a quarterback that talented, just an offense that gave him opportunities that often. That's what he is.
100%. And I got to give another shout out to Coach Prime for putting together the Xavier Weaver Pro Day. We talked about it a lot, that it was such a shame that he didn't get to participate in the Combine. We just found out this week, I think that tweet was quoted by Jim Nagy, who said we invited him to the Senior Bowl, because I think we were doing some hand-wringing over the fact that he didn't get invited. He was invited. He couldn't participate because of his injury. And then he wasn't able to participate in Colorado's Pro Day. That's really hard to overcome. Unless you're a high prospect, that's going to hurt you significantly. Coach Prime, knowing not only, the care and love that he has for Zay, but also the value of, Zay's future to the current program, goes out of his way, sets this up, makes sure that there's media there. He even is talking to you guys that were there, told you to get up closer, like all of that stuff, it matters. And it's hopefully and most likely going to result in his draft stock going way up. And that's just a huge win for everyone involved.
Definitely, man. We talked about him being like a day 2 pick when he was at the peak, like September, October last year, I don't know if he's that up to that caliber again yet, but I would be shocked if he doesn't get drafted.
And once teams turn on the film, hopefully the numbers open their eyes to the film and they go and say, okay, this guy's the truth. I don't know why I just have this feeling he's going to go to the Chargers.
They have a massive need at wide receiver. Although I do think they probably take one with their first pick.
Yeah, they go early for sure, but they lost Keenan Allen. Quentin Johnson so far a bust. Mike Williams retired, I think.
He's on another team.
Okay, yeah. There's like 14 Mike Williams. It's hard to keep up with what they're all doing.
That's true.
Anyways, they don't have anything. So I don't know. I just have a feeling he's going to end up there.
Mike Williams on the Jets with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. You sure that's...
I just looked it up. I promise you. All right, let's get into the trenches here. You wanted to talk about Coach Sapp, and it's been fascinating to watch him work with these guys. In particular, Chidozie, that video yesterday from Wolof.
Yeah, and I think the thing that stands out to me the most is Coach Sapp is not like a new kid at school, like looking around the lunchroom thinking, where do I fit in? He's just come in and he is imparting his knowledge. He is making his presence felt. He is being kind of everything that you hoped he could be for this team, and just seeing him work so up close, getting those guys fired up. Like, every staff needs those types of guys. And I think that it's crazy that Warren Sapp is going to be like the energy guy for this staff. But I really think he can have that type of impact. I used to talk about this all the time with Eric Bieniemy. Like, when Eric Bieniemy was new in the coaching world and coaching under Gary Barnett at CU, that was kind of his role. I remember him on the sidelines with his backwards hat, like going into the special teams huddle before an opening kickoff and just like getting those guys riled up. Like, imagine that being Warren Sapp. His impact is being felt early, and I'm glad he's part of this staff.
The passion that he coaches with is the exact same passion that he played with. It's undeniable. It's palpable. You can feel it through the screen when you're watching Wolof, just how much he loves just sharing, little tips, helping kids out, getting them to be better football players. That's all I've seen so far from him. And
it makes sense why Coach Prime, who fits that mold perfectly, wanted him to be a part of this team.
I mean, you go back to the famous/infamous hot tub story, just how those kids were just wanting to be around him and just learn from him even away from the field. Like, that's invaluable, man. To have coaches that your kids are that gravitated towards, it makes everyone better. And, the kids could just be like, all right, practice is done. I'm going to do, my recovery and go home. But the fact that you have these coaches in here, I think it incentivizes them a little bit more. I'm going to hang out a bit, do some extra work. Try to match that level.
Well, and do you remember when we had Shane Cokes on the pregame show?
Yeah.
And just the way he lit up when he started talking about the fact that, like, he got to learn from Coach Sapp. It's pretty special.
It is. So with that, we do have one of the best defensive linemen in the country coming to visit Boulder, Colorado on April 20th, I believe. Elijah Griffin. I don't know if we've talked about this guy before.
I don't think so.
But he is literally the top-rated defensive lineman in the 2025 class, 247 Sports Composite. 5-star, 4th overall player. He's got some crystal balls to Georgia, but he's coming to Colorado. All the big names are in there. He's already visited USC, Miami, Clemson, Florida as well. He is from Savannah, Georgia. That's where Travis is from, right? Or he played, I think.
Yeah.
Either way. We have some Savannah guys coming in, too, so he's not alone. Out of Savannah Christian Prep. But, I don't know, could he be this year's Jordan Seaton?
I love that you bring up Jordan because I go back to something we talk about a lot of times when these 5-star visits happen. It's a numbers game.
Yep.
You get enough 5 stars on campus, your message, your program, your facilities, your setting, your university eventually is going to click. No one locks down 5 stars at an incredibly high rate, save for maybe Alabama and Georgia.
Right.
Everyone else is like scratching and clawing to get 2, 3, 4 is a lot. 5 would be incredible in a single class. And so, Coach Prime's ability to get these guys on campus, I don't know if anyone's done the math on this. I would venture to guess just from a visit standpoint, we already know that there's more 5 stars on the team right now than have ever been part of Colorado.
Yep.
From a visit, there might be already have been more visits from 5 stars than in the history of the program, or at least since they started tracking 5-star talent. The point being, you start stacking 1 a year, 2 a year. That is how you end up with a upper tier college football roster.
Yep.
And so who knows if it's going to be Elijah Griffin. We're kind of just getting to meet him.
Yep.
But I mean, number 1 defensive line, what is he? 2-4 composite 998.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be another type of Jordan Seaton-like acquisition.
So Travis was a .9999.
Yeah.
Like he was literally almost perfect, and it shows up on the tape. Jordan Seaton, of course, was a 5-star. I'm pulling up his recruiting profile now, was a 9934. So this is an even better recruit than Jordan Seaton.
According to the services.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, again, just keep getting these guys in. You click when Jordan Seaton came, no one was thinking like they have a great chance here, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, Jordan Seaton keeps mentioning Colorado, and then down to the end, still no one really thought it was going to happen, but it ended up happening. Every time you get one of these guys, people are going to stop doubting it.
Definitely. Shout out Bake ZD. It says Travis played in Suwanee. It was some Georgia town with an S.
Yeah. I've heard amazing things about Savannah, Georgia, by the way.
I've only been to Georgia once, and I loved it. Love to go back. All right, let's move on. First, a word from our friends at Breckenridge Brewery.
Oh,
of course.
The Mecca.
The Mecca.
The Mecca of craft beer in Colorado. Make sure you come down here and check out the farmhouse when you're in Colorado. It's one of those places that, like, when people come in, it's like, oh, you should go check that out. It's like, come to the DNVR bar. Obviously, there's so much cool stuff you could do up in Boulder, but this is another one to add to your list when you're visiting Colorado.
Yep.
Come see the Breckenridge Brewery. And if you're not going to come to Colorado, just go onto their website and find the Breck Beer Locator to find the nearest Breck brews to you. This is a true blue Colorado product, but one that's gotten so popular you can find it damn near anywhere.
Yep.
So if you want to try the Fun Slinger like we're sipping on right now, if you want to try Jake's favorite Mountain Beach, which sadly for you ran out on the tap right before you got here, but you can go buy a 6-pack right across the way here and take one home. If you want to try any of the amazing beers they have here at Breckenridge Brewery, make sure you go to breckbrew.com and use the beer locator to find the nearest one to you.
And then shout out to us. Consider becoming a DNVR diehard. The perks are endless. You get a discount at the bar. We're going to have exclusive content. And speaking of that, I'm going to drop the diehard piece this week. I talked to Joe Goodberry, who covers the Bengals, one of the a very prominent Bengals beat writer. Asked him about Coach Livingston, so I'm excited to drop that one later this week.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We'll talk about that one a bit on the show, but to read the whole thing, you need to sign up over at thednvr.com, become a diehard. You get a free shirt at sign up. Again, discounts at the bar. You get access to our members-only Discord. The Discord is popping lately. You get a physical Die Hard card, and you get a free shirt every year on renewal as well. Head on over to DNVR.com now and join the best sports fans in the city.
I can't see the name of the commenter, but they said, how much fun is it to drink good beer while doing your job?
It's big snacks.
Big snacks. It's pretty incredible.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Great day.
And the people here at Breck Brew take amazing care of us. As soon as we're done here, we're going to go have some of the delicious food in the farmhouse.
Wait.
All of their foods kind of have like some sort of Breck Brew twist on it. Yep. It's like a vanilla porter, barbecue, something. And it's all just so good.
Yeah, they're beer battered fish and chips to die for out here. Alyssa got steak sandwich? That thing looked bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry also had that. How was it? How do you know? You've had it both ways?
No, I can tell by looking at the recipe.
Oh, okay. Henry says if you get the steak sandwich, add peppers.
There you go. All right. You weren't here on Thursday, but something dropped then that I want to ask you about and talk to you about. The Athletic dropped this article from Andrew Marchand and Stuart Mandel. Inside the college football Super League, one powerful group's idea to fix a dead system. So what happened, or what's happening, I guess, a bunch of college presidents, Roger Goodell's primary lieutenant at the NFL, and some of the top executives that help place commissioners in the top conferences in the country.
Why are we using terms like lieutenant to just talk about people who work in like an office?
An NFL bigwig? I don't know. And then those involved in a group called College Sports Tomorrow have devised a plan to basically create a college football supergroup. So what that would mean is 7 10-team divisions joined by an 8th division of teams that would be promoted from the second tier. So relegation and promotion.
There's no way this happens.
Of course, the big obstacle being the media deals, with the ACCs going through like 2037, the Big 10 through 2034, the Big 12 through 2031, SEC around there too. Just your thoughts on this.
Oh, I don't know. It sounds like something we could have just cooked up here on the show when we like needed a segment one day.
For sure. And every time we talk about this, I think relegation and promotion is a great idea with this.
Oh, relegation and promotion is electric.
Yes.
And I absolutely love the concept of it. It's not going to come to American sports ever, I don't think.
But if there's too much, it's college football.
Yes, but there's too much on the line. So, like, relegation and promotion has always existed in English football. Mm-hmm. And because of that, the entire league is structured. All of the teams are structured in certain ways so they can offset it. Mm-hmm. For example, my favorite team, Leeds, they got relegated last year.
Right.
Painful, terrible.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Uh-huh.
What happens is they can sell their players. Mm-hmm. to make up for the lost money that they're not going to get from the Premier League TV contracts and all of that goes along with it. That doesn't exist in college football. So what I'm saying is you're going to have college teams that everyone runs on a budget, right? Mm-hmm. Colorado runs their budget based off of the money that they're going to make from their conference. Now, maybe there's a fail-safe here that's like you're not going to lose money if you get relegated, but I have a hard time believing that's actually true. For example, CU fans show up, but like a team with like no real fan base, let's just say a random one, CSU, like if they were actually ever to be in the upper tier and then they got relegated, no one's going to their games the next year.
Right.
So I worry about how the financial aspects are going to work because I think that what would really happen is teams that get relegated would just end up dissipating.
So this is a goal. With this proposal, they're trying to include all 130 FBS teams. So, like I said, you'll have the 7 divisions of the top 10, basically the Power 5, probably split up geographically or something. That's you're locked in. Mm-hmm. Those 70 teams cannot get relegated. The 8th division is the promotion relegation zone, and then there's a whole other lower level of the 50 other teams in the FBS that would be basically G5 teams, and they'd promote from that pool up into that 8th division. That's how it would work.
Is there any way to go from the 8th division to the 7th division? Or
no.
Is that your ceiling? Okay.
No. So, like, if you are basically if you're a G5 team or if you're outside. So it says right here, the top 70 members are all the former Power 5, all of those members plus Notre Dame and a new ACC member, SMU.
Okay.
You're locked in. You cannot get demoted.
Okay.
And then that 8th division is 10 teams that are basically entering the upper division, and then the other 50 remaining teams still compete amongst themselves.
They're competing to try and get in there.
Yes.
It sounds really cool.
It sounds amazing.
It sounds really cool. I have a hard time imagining the execution on it, even with a lieutenant at the helm.
Tons of obstacles to get through, though. I mentioned all those media rights. Those are the big holdups, so we'll see exactly what happens as we move forward. But
it's similar to what I've been saying. I just don't think there's going to be 70 teams involved, or 80 in this case. I think we're going to be much closer to 30 or 40 teams that are actually involved in the Super League.
You're right, but I think to keep college football at least feeling the same as it moves towards this new era, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, as a college football lover, I agree. I want it to be as much as it is like now. But as someone who understands that in the end this all just comes down to money, like a team like Vanderbilt, it just isn't going to be a part of the next phase.
I agree. You're right.
So, and that's why going back to when Colorado fired Carl Durrell, I said this is the most important hire in the history of the program because college football is about to change dramatically, and very soon you're either going to be in or out.
Yep.
And right now, Colorado's in.
Definitely. We'll see what happens, though. Again, this is just a proposal. They have all these media right things to work through, so we'll see what happens. But they're trying, man. And there was a quote at the end from one of the guys at CST, the College Sports Today thing. They said, speed is the biggest emphasis with this thing because there's a lot going wrong right now.
For sure.
You want to get angry?
Sure. Mad Monday.
Bring
it on.
Our wonderful friends over at On 3. In particular, Jesse Simonton.
Who?
Jesse Simonton. I don't know. Anyways, he is a college football columnist at On 3, covers the Gators in Tennessee.
What's the meme? I'm sorry to this man. I don't know this man.
Well, he's about to get cooked. He put out his Big 12 2024 head coach rankings.
Okay.
Do you just want to guess?
I'm not going to guess where he put him because I know nothing about this man. But Coach Prime should absolutely – his floor should be 7.
Okay. The bottom coach, the bottom feeder, the worst one in the Big 12 according to him, Kenny Dillingham at ASU.
Okay. Where did we have him on our tiers?
I think he was in like our C-D tier, wherever that was.
Okay.
Right above him, Brett Brennan at Arizona. It's
the old like unknown
exactly.
Hurts you in this case.
Exactly. Scott Satterfield at Cincy at 14.
Okay.
They were 3-9 last year.
I'll be honest,
terrible.
we've cleared where my fear was. Like
Okay.
I thought he might do something really silly.
Cincy was terrible last year, though. We'll see how good they are this year. Kalani Sitake at 13.
Ball knowledge being called into question.
This guy his name was thrown around at a lot of high-profile jobs. This may be falling off a bit recently, but he's been a hot-ticket coach.
No one just walks into a new level and just immediately dominates. But everything we know about Kalani Sitake tells us he's a good football coach.
Yes. Number 12, Deion Coach Prime Sanders.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Let's hear the blurb.
You want the whole thing?
How long is it?
It's only 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, let's go.
Because of all the bluster and talk about, quote, do you believe? Many viewed year one as a failure for Deion Sanders. It wasn't.
Okay, all right.
The Buffs went 4-8 in Coach Prime's first season in Boulder, a legitimate success story for a team that went 1-11 and lost its last 4 games by an average of 6 touchdowns in 2022.
Good start.
However, the idea that Sanders is on some fast track to a big blue blood job is premature, Sanders doesn't appear interested in doing what it takes to sustain a long-term rebuild at CU. He's continued to mostly ignore prep recruiting in favor of hammering the portal.
There it is.
And then this one is the one that caught my eye. He reshuffled a staff that on paper was much more impressive last season.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
When it comes from the recruiting services, you always know where to look. Mm-hmm. They hate that he doesn't recruit the high school guys because that's where their bread is buttered.
Yep. Just to round out the list, 11 Dave Aranda, 10 Neil Brown, 9 Joey McGuire.
I mean, listen to yourself. Not you, but
I know, yeah. 8 Matt Campbell, 7 Sonny Dykes, 6 Willie Fritz, 5 Gus Malzahn, 4 Chris Kleiman, 3 Mike Gundy, 2 Lance Leopold, 1 Kyle Whittingham.
The top 4 is fine.
Yeah. Interesting list, though.
Interesting is a nice way of putting it.
It got very quiet in here.
It did. Well, there was like an air vent that turned off.
All right, that's it. What do we got for questions?
Let's just do Toyota chat first.
Oh, yeah, Toyota chat first. What do we got? Jordan Smith, has Tyler Brown taken reps at center at all? I know Neely mentioned that he thinks center is TB's spot. Looks like Tyler's taking reps at guard.
He's taking reps everywhere.
Yes.
He also was taking reps at center in some of those videos.
So I think he's going to find a role somehow.
Yeah, I mean, he's loved and trusted by a lot of people around this program, but Coach Prime being one of them. Mm-hmm. And, it did not fall on deaf ears how hard he worked last season to prepare to play. Mm-hmm. When it was very uncertain whether or not he was going to play.
Right.
And when he was dealt a absolute shit hand by the NCAA, it didn't break his stride. And that's kind of the Tyler Brown story, right?
Yep.
Like, you can't break his stride.
Yep.
He just keeps on trucking. And
he's a rock.
And he is. And so, we talked about this when we did our projected starters, but, like, it wouldn't surprise anyone if Tyler Brown finds a way out of the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he makes it on the field. I think he'll start this year. Who's up next? What does that name say? Maximos? Cristiano.
Maximus.
Could you list all the draft-eligible Buffs? I will do my best here.
Okay. Well, you look that up. We can go to the next one. I'll lean forward to try and read it. What's the deal with Slusher right now?
Okay,
give us a breakdown.
I saw Slush at Pro Day 2 weeks ago. I saw him. He's there. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's trying to enter the portal. I do not know.
Yeah, I think there might have been some sort of update while we were on this show.
Oh, really?
So, or a development. I saw someone mentioning, like, he no longer has CU in his Instagram bio.
Then there you go.
Some types of updates that we get this time of year. I don't know I don't know that to be true. I'm just telling you what I read in the comments. But we've talked a few times about there's players that are a little bit in flux right now. Mm-hmm. You guys know their names, but we'll have a lot more clarity at the end of spring ball.
Look, man, it's April 8th. We are 7 days away, 1 week away from the portal opening.
Wow.
I do not know if we're going to see them all enter on Monday, but by the time spring football ends, there's going to be some entries. There's going to be some surprises. So just brace yourself.
Yep.
Draft-eligible Buffs. Of course, Xavier Weaver, and then we got Taj Austin, Javon Antonio, Jordan Dominic, Derek McClendon, Jawan Mitchell, Leonard Payne Jr., Cavassier Smoke, Roderick Ward, and Noah Young.
Good luck, boys. We're pulling for you.
Good luck to them. Demetrius, has the spring game week timeliness been set/updated? Both of you in a fashion
Timelines,
show?
I think.
Or time. Timely.
I think they went for timelines.
Either way, all I've heard is just what they announced with the concert at the CU Event Center with Lil Wayne.
Yep.
And then
the talent show.
The talent show on Thursday, I think.
Yep, and then the prime time something dinner
with
the 5430
yes.
Alliance.
Yep. Anything else, stay tuned. I do not know. Is that it for the Toyota chat? Yep. All right, super chats. FPSD says, must be easy to listen to Coach Phil when he's talking to the O-line, and they all look like Pop Warner players compared to him size-wise. For sure.
I don't think Jordan Seaton quite looks like a Pop Warner player or Tyler Johnson.
Look, Khalil Benson put on the neck roll now.
Ooh.
He looks mean. Yeah.
Dang. We should get Shilo with a cowboy collar for like one. I just want to see that for one practice.
But yeah, Coach Loadholt is massive, and he's coaching a much bigger group this year too. Yep. It must be said. Like, it's easy to see.
Also, Trevor Woods, if you want to look more like a linebacker.
There you go.
Let's get the neck roll going. But yeah, I mean, Coach Loadholt is huge.
Massive guy. Jermaine King, RK sings Total Eclipse of the Heart at 1K likes. Well, we're at 341.
Ooh, so we're not getting Total Eclipse of the Heart from me today. Hate to see it.
That's it today, huh? This is a fun show.
This was great. Huge shout out to Breckenridge Brewery. We're going to go get some food in the farmhouse, which is delicious, and probably have another Breck Brew to wash it down.
Yes, sir. Check out the DNVR again. Article coming out later tonight, and then Die Hard piece later this week. And then we will be back at practice tomorrow. Cannot wait.
Hell yeah. Hopefully we get a schedule at some point.
Yes. Eventually tonight.
Right.
Much later. But, all right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. What?
Last thing. Got a prediction tonight? It's UConn -7. Wait, maybe it's -4. No, I think it's -7.
Give me Purdue.
So if Purdue wins, I win a big college basketball pool.
Not ours, right?
No, not ours. I was terrible in ours. But I hope I win so then I can screenshot it and put it in our company Slacks. Just like, hey, look, I'm not trash.
I mean, I picked the same champion as you did in our pool, so yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm riding with Purdue.
I'm pulling for Purdue, but expect UConn.
There's been a lot of takes thrown around in the college basketball world recently. A lot of anti-Caitlin Clark stuff, a lot of anti-Zach Edey. I'm kind of buying in on both of them just because of that.
I was low on Caitlin when she did the whole anti-court storming thing because I'm number one court storm lobbyist.
Yes,
but then all of the negativity that was put around her recently brought me back. Mm-hmm. I was cheering for her.
Yeah, me too. That was a great game, though.
I mean, and it was really cool. We can end on this, but I was at a family gathering yesterday. Mm-hmm. Everyone was locked in. And, the second I got there, they're like, hey, what time's the game start? Yeah. And I was like, this is so cool. And I told everyone, I'm like, look, I have a couple Iowa fans in the family. I'm like, they're not going to win.
Yeah.
South Carolina is quite literally built different, and
yes,
it was very evident.
That South Carolina center is a monster.
Yeah, Cardoso.
Holy cow, yes.
Yes.
Absolute beast.
When the Iowa players were trying to get into the paint, for my True Detective fans out there, I was saying they're going into Carcosa with Cardoso.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we're ending the show now.
All right, see you guys.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.